So, this is the Swedish Green. The premise, three amigos. All these next events happen in 3 hours. Manny is a middle-aged Spanish guy. He's a dad who's living in a suburb in Stockholm and recently got divorced due to losing all his money in a failed business, and he's looking to earn 1 million crowns to get his wife and his kids back. Manny is voiced by Antonio Banderas. Manny goes to meet his Mexican friend Diego at a cafe, who is a genius, quote unquote, not really because Manny thinks he's a genius, but he's not really a genius, to try to explain how he needs to make a business and make money quick. Diego can't really find any ideas right away, but Manny explains that developing a GMO winter-resistant cannabis weed that self-pollinates might be a good business. Diego complains that they need a lot of money to get that started. Diego is voiced by Gael Garcia. A guy on the cafe overhears the conversation. He interrupts them and he introduces himself. His name is Macaulay Culkin. He has the funds and he's interested in becoming a business partner, but he wants nothing to do with the drugs. He has never tried any drugs. Macaulay Culkin is voiced by Macaulay Culkin. He has a Spanish accent though. Number 2. You know what's cooler than 1 million crowns? And all these next events happen in 3 months. First, Diego buys a ton of scientific equipment using Macaulay Culkin's money and secludes himself in a cabin for days and manages to get a strain with the winter-resistant and self-pollination properties. A local radio story about a lax, a salmon, that started attacking kayaks is shown at the end while Diego is listening to some podcast. Manny builds and promotes selling the seeds, called the Swedish Green, online. He finds some good reviewers from people he used to know back in the days. He is overwhelmed with orders. You can see videos on Manu's Facebook about how some coltras, this like blackbird, is pecking people. Macaulay Culkin gets a free sample from Manny so he can see the packaging. He throws the sample in the compost and a plant starts growing in the compost and he decides to let it grow. There is a national show on Macaulay Culkin's TV about someone talking about how rabbits in the country are starting to kill chickens. Life finds a way. All events happen in 6 months, 6 months later after these ones, and this in less than 30 minutes. Diego finds out that some seeds ended up in Hagaparken. He gets very worried, starts searching on solutions on how to kill weed, and finds that maybe he can build a drone. Manny sees that the orders dropped overnight. He tries to reach out to his contacts, but nobody's answering anymore. One person picks up and tells him that there is no need to order anymore. Manny asks why. The person laughs and tells him to look outside. Manny grabs his binoculars and is horrified. He sees cannabis plants everywhere from his balcony. Macaulay Culkin is walking in Hagaparken and sees an elk crouched eating something far away. Macaulay Culkin approaches the elk, since it is so rare to see one of these animals very south. As soon as he reaches the elk stops eating. Looks at Macaulay Culkin sees blood on the elk's mouth. Looks down and sees that the elk was eating a person. Macaulay Culkin smiles. Erase and rewind. All these events happen in 3 days. Macaulay Culkin runs home and rolls a joint from the plant that was growing in the compost. He wants to get the same power he saw in the eyes of the elk. He smokes it, and he rolls another one, and he rolls another one, and he rolls another one. Manny needs to get the business back in place, so he starts an anti-cannabis protest in Stureplan, that's the center of Stockholm, and tells people that they need to start burning plants, like now. Diego wants to stop cannabis from spreading everywhere, so he builds a drone that can start killing cannabis and starts using it. Ashes to ashes. All events happen in 10 years later. This is in 10 minutes. So 10 years later after the Hastings, this is the next event happened in 10 minutes. A horde of people looking like French revolutionaries but wearing t-shirts with Manny's stenciled face are sitting in a park burning everything with flamethrowers. You see Macaulay, Culkin hiding, looking really terrible by the way, and he's looking to find any cannabis, just like looking like desperate. Macaulay, Culkin manages to find a little plant and very carefully tries to cut it. An alarm sounds off, and Diego's face appears in a hologram telling Macaulay, Culkin that he's violating the Cannabis Act of 2025 and therefore needs to be arrested. 2 drones take Macaulay, Culkin and fly him away. The end.